Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us. This is going to be an awesome meetup because I think OpenAI has just released something that I think is historical. I don't think technology like this has ever existed before, and I don't think it has been this widely available to everyone. And also, I don't think people fully understand the implications of what OpenAI has released here with GPT-4. So just to give you some background, OpenAI has been releasing different models. Their last big flagship model was called GPT-4, but they recently had an event called the Spring Update, and they released a new one called GPT-4o. The O here is for Omni, and the special thing about this one is that it can reason across audio, vision, and text in real time. So before, if you're using ChatGPT and you were talking to it, maybe you're using the voice mode, whenever you spoke to it, it was actually transcribing the text and your voice, and then using that text to give it to GPT-4, which would then interpret it and then give it back to you. But in this case, this is a new AI that can actually understand the nuances of your voice, the emotions. It can actually see and reply to you in real time, all in one model. So I'll just first of all like to ask you guys: have you guys used ChatGPT 4? Do you guys use GPT 4 Plus? Sorry, ChatGPT Plus, or do you use the normal GPT, the normal ChatGPT?
I just use the normal ChatGPT. I haven't tried the pro version.
Oh, no problem. So if you can, the Pro version has some extra features that are not available in the normal one, and I think if you can find ways to add it into your workflows, you can find that it's gonna be very useful. It's something I use every day myself. But enough of that. Let's just talk about this new model because we want to see how is it gonna be useful to us and what does this mean. So we're gonna just start with a few intros. This is on their website, on their blog. Let's just see this is an intro to what this model can do.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey there. It's going great. How about you? I see you're rocking an OpenAI hoodie. Nice choice. What's up with that ceiling though? Are you in a cool industry style office or something?
Well, can you take a guess at what I might be doing based on what I'm showing you here?
Hmm. From what I can see, it looks like you're in some kind of recording or production setup. With those lights, tripods, and possibly a mic, it seems like you might be gearing up to shoot a video or maybe even a live stream. Are
Yeah.
you con-
In fact, we've got a new announcement to make.
That's exciting. Announcements are always a big deal. Judging by the setup, it looks like it's going to be quite the professional production. Is this announcement related to OpenAI, perhaps?
It is.
I'm intrigued.
And in fact, what if I were to say that you're related to the announcement or that you are the announcement?
Mm, me? The announcement is about me? Well, color me intrigued. Are you about?
So I'm gonna pause there. And first of all, just I want to know your initial impressions of what you just saw. You just saw an AI talking to a person in a very emotional voice, and it's actually able to see in real time what the person is seeing, and it's responding to you in an emotional way. So maybe Mohammed, you can give us any opinions that you have about this demo initially.
It's really amazing to see how far the OpenAI have developed to come to this. The way that you can stream at the same time, and the AI interact with you with a high precision is really incredible. So for me, it's really it's really good so far.
Yes, Terence, what do you think about this?
I don't know if anyone here has watched the movie with
Yes,
Joaquin Phoenix and forgot the lady's name. But it's so close to that. It's so interesting how the voice is close to a human's voice. The AI can read into the environment of the person, understand the emotions. It's really interesting. I want to try it.
it's mind blowing, and we'll go into more examples. And it was the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. I'd like to also welcome Melissa. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the meetup.
Hi. I'm still somewhere where I can't speak so much, but I'm just glad listening.
No problem. So that was just the initial demo, just to show you the guys that where technology has reached. And this is something that you'll be able to actually use for yourself in terms of on your own phone. You're going to have an assistant that can talk to you, understand your emotions. It can see what you're seeing. And today we're going to go through various different demos just to show you the capabilities. So GPT-4, the O is for Omni, and it's a step towards much more natural human-computer interactions. It combines it accepts input in any combination of text, image, audio, and video, and generates all those at outputs. And it generates very fast. That's the other very interesting thing about this new model compared to the previous one. This one actually is able to respond to you almost in real time, which is similar to human responses. So something they've done here is they want it to be like a human, like you're actually talking to someone in real time. And the interesting thing is you can actually also interrupt it. So before, if you're talking to ChatGPT, sometimes it could take a while before it replies to you. But now you can actually, when it starts talking and you're like, this is not where I want it to go, or I want to add even more context, you can actually say, oh, no, just do this. And it'll actually hear your interruption and change what it's talking about, what it's saying. So there's many different demos here. I just want to show you, these are going to blow your mind in terms of what this AI is capable of. So we're going to start here maybe with, let's start with this one for tutoring. So let's say you're in college or you're a student or you're trying to learn a new idea. So they have this new app that is able to actually see your screen, and it's actually able to tutor you through this process. So let's play this video and see.
OpenAI invited myself and my son Imran here to try out some of their new technology. And so we're curious about how good it might be at tutoring someone in math on Khan Academy. So let's get it started. It's loading up. Make sure it can see our screen.
Actually, in this form.
Hello there. I'm here with my son, and I'd love you to tutor him on this math problem, but don't give him the answer. You can ask questions and nudge him in the right direction, but I really want to make sure he understands it himself. And he's here in the room, so you can talk to him directly.
Of course, I'd be happy to help. Let's look at the problem together. Can you first identify which sides of the triangle are the opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse relative to angle alpha?
All right, so I'm pretty sure this is the angle alpha right here, right?
Perfect. That's correct. Now, looking at the triangle, which side do you think is the hypotenuse?
Really,
Remember the hypotenuse?
I'm not totally sure. I think it might be this one, but I really am not sure. This side AC.
You're close. Actually, side AC is called the adjacent side to the angle alpha. The hypotenuse.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to pause there a bit. So as you can see, once this app is released in the next few weeks, you're actually going to be able to have a tutor on your actual phone or your iPad or even your laptop that is able to talk to you and walk you through any kind of problem that you have. It's essentially like having a teacher who understands everything that you need, and it can correct you and it can tutor you. So imagine how this is about to revolutionize how students are able to learn. Instead of having one teacher teaching 30 children, you can have just someone with an iPad here, for example, and it can actually walk you through all the different steps that you need to understand a difficult problem. But there's even more use cases. So let me show you another one, which is, for example, real-time translation. This one is very interesting. So let's say you don't understand a specific language, or you have a friend who you want to communicate with. So it's now actually possible to have these two AIs, to have this AI translate with you and your friend in real time. The audio is a bit off sync, as you can see, but it's okay. We'll just roll with it.
Hey, ChatGPT, I'm here with my coworker today. We'd like you to act as our translator for us. So every time I say something in English, can you repeat it back in Spanish? And every time he says something in Spanish, can you repeat it back in English?
Sure, I can do that. Let's get this translation train rolling.
Hey, how's it been going? Have you been up to anything interesting recently?
Hola, ¿cómo te ha ido? ¿Has hecho algo interesante últimamente?
Hola, bien. Sí, un poco ocupado aquí preparando un evento para la semana que viene.
Hey, I've been good. Just a bit busy here preparing for an event next week.
Can you tell me anything about it? That's
Yeah, so as you can see, it will also understand different languages. So if you have someone who you don't understand, and this is for the first, like in a lot of times, technology has promised that this could happen. Even Google Translate was promising that in the future this would happen. But now with the release of GPT-4o, this is now actually possible for the first time in anyone's pocket in real time. That you're able to speak in different languages, and you have a phone in the middle that is able to translate between the two of you. But it even goes further than that, because you can actually have this AI speak in different tones. You can ask it to speak quietly. You can ask it to speak faster or slower. So let's see here in this situation, this guy wants it to do a lullaby.
Let's try with some lullabies. Could you sing me a lullaby about majestic potatoes?
A lullaby about majestic potatoes? Now that's what I call a mashup. Let's do it. Oh, majestic potato in the moon soft glow.
Okay, that's pretty nice, but I think a lullaby should be, more whispery, should be a little softer. Can you do it a little softer?
Absolutely, let's make it soft and gentle. Oh, majestic potato, spoon soft close.
Okay, it's a little too whispery. Maybe go like a little louder.
Got it. Let's find that sweet spot. Oh, majestic potato in the moon soft glow.
Yeah, so this is insane that you're actually able to tell it to speak faster, to sing. It can actually sing. You can tell it, do this in a singing voice, be more quiet, be louder. You can tell it to talk like a robot. You can tell it to do different languages. So it's essentially like having an extremely intelligent person who is speaking to you, and they can listen to all the nuances that you want them to have in their voice and their emotions. And it's actually able to respond to you in those contexts. And there's many more different situations here that you can do. You can show it images. It can actually help blind people to see. For example, this person, for example, let's watch this demo. So this is a blind person who they can't see, but they can use this technology now to be able to understand the world around them.
Residence at the moment?
Yes, it looks like the king is in residence right now. The royal standard flag is flying above Buckingham Palace, which is the signal that the monarch is present. How exciting to be there while the king is home.
Try and tell me exactly what they're doing right now, please.
Right now the ducks are gently gliding across the water. They're moving in a fairly relaxed manner.
Yeah, so the idea is just to show you that now there's a new technology called GPT-4o that is about to appear in everyone's phones, and it's accessible for people. And this technology is about to change how we interact with. It's essentially something that no other company has been able to release before. Even Google or all the other flagship models are not close to what this model can do right now, because everyone else is essentially maybe a text-based model, or if it's multimodal, it doesn't have all these features, or it's not in real time the same way that this one does. But this model also has many other capabilities. So the funny thing is, when they released these demos, they mostly showed things like, talking to customer service. For example, the chat can even sing. So if you want an AI that can sing, it can do that. It can help you prepare for interviews in the future. If you have a job interview, you can actually give it your look and tell it, how do I look? It can give you a rating. It can tell you, change this. This is what people will think about you, stuff like that. It can play games with you. It can understand sarcasm. So stuff like that. But the funny thing is, that's only the surface level of what this model can do, which is also why we thought it would be nice to have this meetup, so we can explore even deeper use cases and things that they didn't highlight on their YouTube videos. So we're going to come here and look at explorations of their capabilities. So it can do much more, including generating images. So I don't know if I can zoom here. So for example, if you wanted to write text, if you wanted an AI to print out text for you, right now the models that exist don't do a very good job of writing text. They're going to mess up the text for you. But surprisingly, GPT-4o is extremely good at having consistent output when it comes to text. So if you give it a first-person view of a robot typewriting the following general entries, and then you give it a certain piece of text, it actually does the image, and the text is extremely, it's very good text. Like there's no mistakes essentially. Maybe there's small differences, but it's essentially what you wanted it to do. The same thing, but it's even more longer text, as you can see, and even more incredible. When you tell it to, so the robot was unhappy with the writing, so he's going to rip the sheet of paper. So you told it to rip the sheet of paper. In the background, there's still some stuff in the back, but as you can see, it tries to keep the text consistent, even though the images has been ripped, which is incredible. And it shows us that AI is about to reach a point where it's going to be able to generate any text that you want extremely accurately. But there's much more that they didn't show. So if you come here to their website, you'll see here that there's many different use cases, and let's go through some of them. So Sally, the male woman. So let's say you wanted to create a cartoon. So you can use an initial output. So so you tell it a cartoon male delivery person with a smile, and you've generated your initial character. But then you want now to create a consistent, let's say a comic or a small movie or something out of it. So you can come here and now give it your character, and then you say, now let's have Sally do some stuff. So she's now delivering, and then it will now generate consistent characters. This was very difficult with previous AI models, because when you tried to give it an image to try to generate another image, it would actually have generated something completely different. But now, as you can see, you can now have consistent characters in terms of, let's see here, in terms of what the character is doing. So as you can see, it keeps all the style, and this looks exactly like our initial image. So if you have a character that you've designed, you can now take that character and put that character into different scenarios, and it's going to look exactly the same that you wanted. And this is a big deal if you're an artist, if you're someone who wants to generate some of these things. As you can see, very big deal. You can generate consistent characters. Let me show you more use cases. So let's say you wanted to create a poster for a movie. So let's design another poster. This is a picture. You take one picture and then another picture of a person, and then you give it a prompt for the kind of poster that you want. So it generated this one as the first poster. As you can see, it's not very good in terms of even the quality, but it's something there. But let's see what what the AI can do in terms of improving it. So here's the same poster but cleaned up. The text is crisper. The whole image is now improved. So now it actually does a new one. As you can see, you gave it just two images of you and your friend, and they're not even high quality images, but then it's actually able to take those two images, and without any editing, without you doing the Photoshop and all of that stuff, it does all the work for you. And this is now incredible. If you're someone who wants to do images, if you're someone who works with this kind of stuff, it even added, I don't know whether it added the wounds and stuff, but this is very incredible in terms of being able to just take basic stuff and create something out of it. So I'm going to pause there and ask for your thoughts and opinions. Mohammed, Terence, Melissa, if you wanted, you can also type in the chat if you have any questions or anything interesting you wanted to add. But do you guys have any thoughts or opinions of anything I've said so far? Or any use cases you think would be interesting for things you're working on? I'll start with maybe Terence. What do you think?
It's just fun seeing how AI has come from a point where it used to have hallucinations and generate stuff that it doesn't mimic the prompt, to this stage where it can create things that are close to a movie or a book. What do you call it? A poster. It's amazing, man. It shows that we're moving in the right direction, or people behind ChatGPT are moving in the right direction. That's what I think.
Exactly. Mohammed, what do you think?
I'm thinking that it's hold a huge potential to revolutionize multiple sectors in terms of education, at working place. We see how far have we come. For example, like an example you showed us, a boy that uses as a tutor for a math problem, and how it can solve that problem as a more like teacher. It's really impressive, and it's really gonna benefit a lot, a lot. That's my thoughts.
Thank you, guys. Those are some of the initial demos. I'm glad, and now it's possible for you now to start thinking for yourselves. Because the cool thing is, everything that I'm showing you here is something that is for you to think about and use. Because we're in this new universe where technology is able to do these things. So now it's up to us as creators, as creative people, to completely forget about how the past was and to now start embracing these new tools to figure out what we can do. So Melissa says. That I would like to see how I can integrate it in an SST project and give feedback on whatever is transcribed. I love all the use cases given, and I hope that utilizing it will be seamless. Exactly. And I'll also show you even some initial demos, STT. Yeah, exactly. And then I'll also show you some initial demos for how you can access it yourself. But there's even much more that you can do. So you want to design a new character, you can say, let's design a friendly looking robot. And then you can now have the robot doing different things. So we talked about consistent characters. This is a very big deal in terms of even what even the animation industry, movies, things like that. It can also create a typography. So you can give it an image like this. Sorry, you can give it a text like this, and then it actually does it in a handwritten kind of, as you can see, some cursive kind of a font. You can say write it in dark mode, and then it actually translates it into dark mode. Before, this would have taken tons of editing in terms of if you wanted to open Photoshop to do it, and it wasn't possible even in GPT and even using DALI. So let's go to another one. Commemorative coin. This one was interesting. So you're actually able to give it like a design for a logo, and then you actually have it design a specific commemorative coin or something like that. And then it's actually able to take that coin and generate it in an even higher resolution, which is a big deal. So it's able to take your image, make it much higher resolution, and make it even more detailed. There's another use case, which is let's see, photos to caricature. Now, this is a big deal. So let's say you're on Instagram or you're on WhatsApp, and you always wanted a cartoon version of yourself. So you take your image, and you can see this isn't even the highest quality image. And then you tell it, generate a cartoon for me. So it's actually able to take that image and turn it into a cartoon, which is now a big deal. Because imagine now, let's say you wanted to make a movie or a cartoon of yourself. This could be the foundation of that, where you say, I want something that looks like me. Before, for you to have a cartoon of yourself, it would have taken lots of editing. And sure, there are AIs which let you do that nowadays. But now this is going to be much more accessible to everyone. And look at this. So you take a basic image of yourself, turns it into a cartoon that is actually very nice and resembles the actual person. There's even more. Look at this. Wow, incredible. And even this, just take a picture of yourself and you turn yourself into a cartoon character. Now imagine you take now this cartoon character, then you ask it, now show me this cartoon character flying around, or show me this cartoon character doing something. So you can actually now imagine yourself in different scenarios if you wanted, which I think is incredible. So yeah, as you can see, these are some of the people, and this is actually the guy who worked on this on this model himself. Yeah, let's see. Now there's even more. So the reason why I wanted to also do this presentation is because there's much more stuff that this AI can do that you're not going to find people talking about. People will mostly focus on the text and the stuff that we saw in the videos. But I just wanted to show you there's more capabilities the AI has that are not explored. So if you wanted to make a font, let's say you wanted to make your own unique font, it's actually possible to tell the AI to, create a font for you, a new unique font, and you can edit it in different ways. You can make it futuristic. You can make it, So now if you wanted to create a font, before you had to go download a free font or get a designer to do it. But now you can actually generate a font for yourself. And there's even more capabilities, which is now, and this is incredible now, 3D object synthesis. This is a big deal, and you can now see the future of immersive interaction with ChatGPT. So you tell it a realistic looking 3D rendering of the OpenAI logo, it generates this, and then here it is. You tell it to generate shown below, blah, 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 it generates this, and then it does a 3D reconstruction from 6 images. So you can give it a few images. It generates a few images of the logo, and then you can actually have it reconstruct that 3D. And here at the same time, as you can see, it does one for a seal as well. So I hope now you can see a future. Let's say a future of let's admit Chris. So now you can see actually a future where you can actually generate an image. Let's say an image of yourself, and then you generate a few more frames, and then it can actually piece together all those frames to put it together like that. And this is actually incredible that this technology is now possible within this one model. So this is this one Omni model that we've been talking about. There's also brand placement. So let's say you had a thing that you are making. Let's say you had a small shop and you wanted to understand how you can look with certain branding or certain things like that. So in this case, they gave it the logo for OpenAI, and they also gave it a coaster. And then they told it, I would like to see how this OpenAI logo would look on this coaster. And the output is actually very, very good in terms of presenting to you what the logo would look like if you wanted to make a custom thing. Before, this would have been extremely difficult for you to do by yourself. But now you can actually just tell the AI, and you see even the perspective and the I don't know what you call it, embossing or whatever. It's actually done very well in terms of the materials, and it looks very realistic in terms of the output that it gave. So let's see more. Poetic typography. It can actually write. Look, it can actually write like as if it's a human being. And in some cases, I would never have known this was an AI. This to me would have just been like a human being writing this. So it's very difficult to tell that this was an AI, but it can actually do that. Let's see, multi-line rendering. So look at this. You tell it a first-person view of a robot looking at his phone's messaging app. So you give it a few texts, and it's actually able to, repeat all that text. As we said, this model is now very good at representing text, even better than most other models. Like, I think this is the best model for text output. Meeting notes with multiple speakers. So this one is actually very interesting. So you're actually able to give it audio of a meeting or something that's happening. And because it's extremely good at hearing what's happening in the audio, even much better than a human being, it'll actually tell you what's happening in that. So let's play this audio clip to hear what's happening.
Okay, good morning. Here's our first team meeting.
Morning.
Morning. I'll be your project manager for today, for this project. My name is Mark, and I'll be giving this presentation for you to kick the project off.
I will be, during this project, the marketing expert, and I will see what the user wants.
Yes. So as you can see, you're able to give it an audio, and then
what we can do.
Oh, sorry. And then just from the audio, it's able to figure out who is in the and then from the audio, it's able to figure out who is in this who is in the meeting, who the people are, who introduced themselves, what the meeting was about, and things like that. And then it's actually able to transcribe it for you immediately with the speaker names. So that's another use case for this model that is extremely interesting. It can summarize lectures. So you give it here's a video presentation.
By providing few shot examples. So giving it input and output pairs and actually showing it the kind of behavior that you want it.
So imagine you give it a video and it's actually able to go through the entire video and give you a detailed summary of everything that happened in that video, which is now incredible. So now if you missed out on a certain thing, you can actually just look at it immediately, tell the AI what happened in this video, and then it's going to be able to essentially tell you everything that's happening in the video. Variable binding cube stacking. An image depicting 3 cubes stacked on a table. The middle table is that. It has and then it's actually able to show you the different stacks. Like, let's see, and then finally concrete poetry. Let's see what this one is about. So the concrete poem in the outer shape over is composed of the word omni. Wow. So you're actually able to give it an image, and it'll be able to use the word, any word that you give it. Let's say you wanted your own name, or you wanted the name of your company to be in the shape of that logo. It can actually now take that prompt and turn your logo into a piece of text, and then same image but dark mode and rainbow text. So as you can see, like photo editing is about to be completely changed. Image editing is about to be completely changed. Logo design, even programming, education, 3D objects, even poetry, designing movie posters, everything is about to change in terms of how people edit, interact with images, interact with sound. just because of this model. So that's why this model was a very big deal. It's a historic moment, essentially, in terms of technology. And they've released something that is much, much better than what anyone else had. So at this point, I'd like to pause. Welcome, Chris, to the meetup. Thanks a lot for joining us. Chris, I don't know whether you can hear me. Okay. You can also type in the chat if it's difficult to speak. And also you can interrupt me at any point. So if you have any questions or anything that you want to put in, maybe your own experience or something that you think would be interesting, you can also just interrupt me and just say it. But these were just the initial use cases, because when you go to YouTube now and you see videos about this, they're mostly going to focus on this idea that you can speak to it. It has emotions, which is a big deal. You can interrupt it. It also speaks in real time like a human being. It can view images. It can help you with meetings. It can do real-time translations. It can change its voice in terms of how high it speaks. It can talk faster or slower depending on how you want it. It can actually sing. So imagine now you can have the AI sing. It can laugh. It's essentially like a human being, but in a phone. And that's just the surface level. But they didn't expose all these other things that this AI is now capable of doing, which is what I wanted to highlight. But we can also take it a step further, because this AI is now capable of even more. Let me go back here. I'll show you that demo in a bit. But let me show you more on this website in terms of the evaluation. So in terms of evaluation, in terms of how good this model is compared to other models, this is actually one of the best models, or the best models in terms of what's available on the market. So as you can see, it beats most models, except in this one situation where the previous GPT-4 is better than that one. But in terms of intelligence, this is now the best model on the market for you to be able to use if you just wanted to do even normal work. They've also done a lot of work in terms of language tokenization. This means that in different languages, you can now use fewer tokens, making it much cheaper. So if you're making an application in these different languages, it's now much cheaper for you. And that's something I forgot to mention, which is that this new Omni model, as you can see, it's much smarter than GPT-4T and the initial GPT-4, but it's also 50% cheaper. So it's much faster and much cheaper and much more intelligent, which is a big deal. And as you can see, it can do even much more. So as you can see, it's also optimized it for many. Yeah.
What does it mean when you say a model is cheaper?
Yes, or let's talk about this. So let's say you wanted to use these models in your own applications. Let's say you're an application developer. One of the whole point of this GPT-4, and also the way I interpret when you say OpenAI, the open means that they provide this technology to developers, to people like you and me, and we can immediately start using it in our own use cases. So for example, if you have an application and you wanted it to have the ability to speak, you wanted it to have the ability to do these things, to generate images, to analyze intelligent things and give you back feedback, you'd have to integrate their API. And that's something I'm going to show you just now. It's part of this presentation, how you can use this in your own applications. But before, you had to pay a certain amount. Let's say you paid $1 for every 1,000 requests. Now you're only paying 50 cents, meaning it's cheaper than even the previous model. So all the people who are using OpenAI API, like if you're using an OpenAI app, if you're using an OpenAI API and you're using an app which uses that, the developer essentially now has to pay 50% less. So if they're paying $1,000 a month, now they're paying $500 a month.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So yeah, it's much cheaper now for you to use. And the thing, even for me, I'm an OpenAI developer, meaning I have applications that use these APIs already, which are on the market. And the experience I've had is in the past few years, they've actually reduced the costs by more than 90%. So the prices you were paying 1 year ago have drastically reduced. And this AI is getting much more cheaper for anyone to pick up and use. And I'll show you all of that just now so you can start for yourself. But it does have limitations. It's not perfect. And there's even examples here. You can see where it messes up. But either way, just assume it's going to get better and that this is just funny for now. But in a year, this is not even going to be relevant. But now let me move to another demo. So now let's say we are all programmers. We are all interested in coding. And we had an example earlier where, it could teach you, like it could see your screen and teach you. But now let's go through an example where you're a programmer and you code for a living or you want to build apps. How can this new model help you in your career. So let's play this.
A computer for this. Okay, so I'm going to open the ChatGPT desktop app, like Mira was talking about before. Okay, and to give a bit of background on what's going on, so here we have a computer, and on the screen we have some code, and then the ChatGPT voice app is on the right. So ChatGPT will be able to hear me, but it can't see anything on the screen. So I'm going to highlight the code, Command C it, and then that will send it to ChatGPT, and then I'm going to talk about the code to ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT.
Hey there, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going really well. I was wondering if you could help me with a coding problem today.
Of course, I'd love to help you out. What's the coding problem you're dealing with?
Okay, I'm going to share with you some code. 1 second.
Sure thing, take your time.
Okay, so I just shared some code with you. Could you give me a really brief one-sentence description of what's going on in the code?
This code fetches daily weather data for a specific location and time period, smooths the temperature data using a rolling average, annotates a significant weather event on the resulting plot, and then displays the plot with the average, minimum, and maximum temperatures over the year.
Awesome, thanks so much. And in the code, there's this function foo. Can you describe to me what the plot would look like if I had versus didn't have this function?
Sure. The function foo xy takes in a data frame x containing temperature data and a window size y for calculating the rolling mean. It smooths the average temperature, minimum.
Yeah, so I'll pause there. And all the stuff we've talked about is all cool, but like if you're a programmer or you code for a living, this is also just about to completely change how programmers work, because now you're actually going to have an assistant on your laptop that is able to see in real time exactly what you're working on. It's able to analyze everything that you're doing. It's able to understand all the code that you're working on, and it's gonna get even crazier. So let's play.
Temperature and maximum temperature columns by applying a rolling mean over the specified window. With the foo function, the plot would show smoother temperature lines because the rolling mean reduces the noise or fluctuations in the data.
Awesome.
This makes...
Thanks so much. So yeah, I definitely will want to apply this function. And so I'm going to generate the plot and then show it to you. Give me 1 second.
Absolutely. Take your time. I'm excited to see the plot when you're ready.
Yeah. So far, ChatGPT has only been able to see the code. And now I'm going to run it, and then I'll use the vision capabilities of the ChatGPT desktop app so it can actually see everything going on the screen as well. Okay, ChatGPT. I'm sharing with you the plot now. I'm wondering if you can give me a really brief one-sentence overview of what you see.
The plot displays smoothed average, minimum, and maximum temperatures throughout 2018, with a notable annotation marking a big rainfall event in late September.
Fantastic. I have another question for you. Which months do you see the hottest temperatures, and roughly what temperatures do those correspond to?
The hottest temperatures occur around July and August. The maximum temperature...
So as you can see, this is a complete game changer. If you're someone who writes code for a living, there's now going to be a software that is able to look at your screen to understand your code, and it's actually going to be able to give you advice in real time as you're coding, because it's able to see everything that you're seeing, and actually just tell you what to do, what's happening, give you an analysis. And I'm extremely excited. So they still haven't launched this ChatGPT app for Mac, or maybe they have. I'm not so sure. Also, you need apparently you need a Mac with the Apple Silicon for you to be able to use this, which is unfortunate. But still, the fact that you can, as a programmer, you can have an assistant floating on your window as you're typing your code, as you're going through the motions of being a programmer. This will accelerate people's workflows extremely fast, and I'm actually very excited for this. So I don't know what you guys think so far about this demo, especially for the coding one. Any comments or thoughts? Do you guys see how this could be useful for you in terms of the work you do? Even I know some of you have done computer science. So what do you guys think? Mohammed, thoughts or opinions?
It's offer a unique perspective on understanding coding, providing explanations, suggestions. Its ability to analyze code as a side as a side partner is really good, and is going to help a lot in terms of productivity, on how fast we can produce apps with better features. It's really good.
Exactly. Terence, thoughts, comments?
Usually the coding process is a how do I say it? It's an individual thing you do. You're alone in your room coding, or you're at the office coding, and that's it. But when you have an assistant or a pro, a pro you can talk to one on one, it's kind of easier instead of the usual practice of copying code with bugs to a chat GPT prompt, then asking it for a response. It's easier this way where the model can just see what you're doing and interact with you one on one. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, extremely mind blowing. Melissa or Chris, feel free to type in the chat if you have anything. I will read it out. But yeah, this is I'm extremely excited for this. This can actually really accelerate your learning. It can accelerate how you make apps, your creativity, anything you're interested in terms of if you want to accelerate your programming process. But now let's go back to the question of let's say you wanted to take advantage of all this technology. Where would you start? And how does that process work? So I spoke earlier about being an OpenAI developer, and I think in terms of career, if you're thinking about what do you do as someone who understands programming, understanding the OpenAI API is probably the most valuable thing you can do as a developer. This is the most valuable this is the most valuable page or the most valuable documentation that you can find on the internet. And I think this is some of the most valuable stuff that is available for us, because it essentially gives you access to the latest and most intelligent models that human beings have ever. Everything that we've shown you is possible for you to implement in your own applications for your own use cases. So if you have any interesting use cases or things that you can imagine you can do with this AI, it's not just that you can use it in ChatGPT the same way OpenAI is providing. They actually also allow you to use it in an API if you wanted. So it's called the OpenAI API over here. And there's many things you can do. Like this is an extremely valuable thing that they allow people to do. Let's come here to text generation. So if you wanted to create an app that has text generation, it can have a chat, it can be intelligent. You can just come here and look at the different APIs that they provide. But I just wanted to show you here in terms of the API reference, that it's actually possible for you to use out of the box right now. If you come here to chat, you can actually start using the OpenAI API if you wanted. Sorry, if you can actually start using this GPT-4 Turbo. Sorry, this GPT-4o, the GPT-4 Omni in your application already. So if you had use cases that you wanted to explore, things that you thought were interesting, like you can see here, you can just come here. You say, I want to create a chat. I want you to use the GPT-4o model. You tell it you're an assistant, or you're a girlfriend, or you're a tutor, or you're whatever. And then you just have your user chatting with your chatbot. Maybe you're a customer care service, and I gave you some information about my business, so help the user to navigate through my website or something like that. But this is it's essentially a gold mine for the modern world. And if you're a developer and if you can write code, this is probably one of the most valuable things that you can possibly do right now, because this technology is crazy. They essentially provide for you all the technology that they use on ChatGPT. You can actually take it as a developer and use it yourself. And I think that's crazy that they actually allow you to do this out of the box. And they do this in a way that not even Google or Anthropic or anyone else allows you to do it, because the Google's and the other APIs are not as good as what OpenAI provides. And also, OpenAI also provides not just chat, but much more. So they provide embeddings. They can actually allow you to fine-tune some of their models. They can actually provide, and this is very valuable, an assistance API. So if you want to create your own assistants, which is essentially now it's a much more advanced version of a chatbot, but it can actually do much more. So this is one of the best things in terms of the API. If you want to try out the assistance API, very valuable. There's many use cases you can have out of this. You can create things like what else? They have images. Also, they have this new model called Sora. I can't wait for that one to be available via the API. But you can actually have an app that generates images if you wanted. So all this technology is now available to you, and I just wanted to highlight that if you're interested in working on something, this would be something interesting for you to check out. And when I talked about costs earlier, what I meant was that you have to pay whenever you generate something. So let's say your user comes here and they generate this prompt. You're going to pay a very small fraction of a cent whenever each image is generated. But what they're doing is they make it much cheaper. So over the months and years, it's become much cheaper. And I think as a solo developer, you're probably even going to have problems even spending $10 because it's that cheap in terms of the intelligence. And they only want to make it cheaper as time goes on. So yes, you can now use all these APIs yourself. If you have any ideas for any new kinds of apps, any new kinds of innovations, this is where you can come and and essentially start working on it. But they also provide something called a playground, meaning that you can actually go and use these APIs yourself. So in their OpenAI playground, which is in the same account, you can just come, select the model that you want to interact with, and then you can just say, hello. Then how do you send? Oh, hello there. So you can actually have a chat with the model that you want. You can actually play around with it. If you wanted to test, you can configure a few things here, like temperature, max tokens, things like that. Hello, you are a banana. Let me try this one. Hello there. I don't know if this will work, but hello, tell me a joke. So you can essentially start using these. Test it yourself, play around with it, play around with the costs, play around with different aspects, and see for yourself. You can actually even compare different models. That's also possible. And let's now talk about, now I've shown you the use cases. We've seen the demos. We've seen that you can actually build your own application. So you don't have to wait for OpenAI. You can actually come and start thinking about your own use cases. And this is the future of development, which is how can I make the most intelligent and unique applications? And then I've also shown how you can use it for yourself in terms of the playground. But if you also want access to it directly, let's say on your phone or even on the web. So let's say you are using it. Like this is something I'm already using on my phone because they recently updated, and I use the ChatGPT Plus, so that you can get the latest models and the latest features. But here, as you can see, I already have access to the GPT-4o model. So as you can see, you can have this one. This is what most people have, and then this is what you get when you pay. But then this one is the one that has been released for the Plus subscribers. And there'll also be probably an even more advanced one, maybe ChatGPT 4.5 or ChatGPT 5, which could be a mind-blowing game changer. Hello there. So now this is when I chat with my AI. I've already given it custom instructions about me, so it already knows about me. So when I have conversations with my AI, they're usually very personalized, and it usually understands everything about me. So it knows the context. That's why it knows it knows my name already. Let me say, just doing a demo for the AI features. Thanks. Got it. Yeah, okay. What are some examples you can highlight? So also the other thing I want to show you is that it's very fast. So it's actually much faster than before. So even a week ago, this could have taken was a much longer process in terms of generating this whole bunch of text. But now, if you're using this GPT-4o model compared to GPT-4, you'll find that it's much faster in terms of generating the text as well. And they've also updated the UI a bit. Yeah. So yeah, let me just do a quick summary. There's a new model called GPT-4o. It's a game changer. It's something that no other company has released, and I don't think anyone else is close to what OpenAI is doing. There's many use cases, as you can see, in terms of the voice and the emotions. It's actually an AI that can understand your emotions. It can modulate its voice. It can sing. It can understand vision. It can reply to you in real time. It can laugh. I think in the future, this could actually even impact the idea of people having AI relationships, the way someone mentioned the movie Her. I think this is where we're going. You can also see here a demo in terms of the programming. It can actually now also help you as a programmer. It can be on your screen, essentially looking at everything you're doing and giving you guidance. And you can also use this AI yourself in terms of you building applications, thinking about use cases. You can actually go and ask ChatGPT, what app can I make that can take advantage of some of this technology? You can make images. You can edit images just with the API. Can you believe that? It's incredible. Yes, let's see. So Melissa says, You can actually configure GPT to an AI partner. Yes, exactly. And actually, funny thing is, one of my use cases or the applications I've built is one of those AI relationship apps where you can see people having chats with different AIs. Like, loneliness is a real thing. And if you can have an AI that can laugh, that can understand your context, that can actually be a thing that people gravitate towards. And then you can actually even test the AI yourself if you wanted. You can come to the playground, just sign up for an OpenAI account, and then select GPT-4o, and then just have test with it. Even if you're developing, you want to see, oh, okay, what can I do with it? You can come here and test. And then finally, as a consumer, or just someone, if you want to use it on your phone or your laptop, you can actually now open ChatGPT, select GPT-4o if you're on the paid plan, and then you'll be able to use the latest model. It can generate images, it can do all of that, and in the next few weeks, it's only going to get better and more interesting. So I know that was a quick run through all of this, but that was my presentation so far. I just wanted to discuss this new awesome thing. As we wrap up, I wanted to get some thoughts and feelings for you guys. What did you think about this? Do you have any cool projects or things you're interested in working on after this? Thoughts and opinions. I'll start with Terrence. What do you think?
First of all, it was a great presentation, really great presentation, Ian. And second, as a person who's going to be doing final my final year project, I'm considering creating an AI application. I think I'm considering creating a productivity tool. Yeah, and I think I'm going to use some AI implementations in it. So yeah.
Yes, I highly encourage you. I think you'll be on the forefront. Like you can start, even as someone who's you're getting into this, you can start branding yourself as an AI developer. You can start thinking of yourself like that, because that's the future now of where programming is going. Even that's how I see myself, as primarily an AI developer, where you're thinking about what can you do with this incredible tech.
Nice.
Mohammed, any thoughts or opinions?
I think the presentation was highly beneficial, and really thank you for your time. Uh, and about GPT-4, as a student who I'm currently on the project proposal plan, I will use this thing to integrate with my hardware, the hardware that uses Arduino boards. I think it will be useful for me to interact with AI and also in my project.
Wow, you've mentioned something there which is incredibly awesome, and I think you should definitely explore that, because it's something I also thought about at some point, which is combining this with Arduino. I think there's a huge opportunity there for combining this technology with hardware. So I think you're onto something there, and there's a huge market there, and someone is going to do it at some point, right? They're going to start thinking, fine, how can I now make this help me with Arduinos, controlling Arduinos? Now you can have intelligent hardware essentially because of this. So, and that's incredible. So that's very good. I also saw that Chris said he's exploring this to enable businesses to automate communication with customers, and that's very good. So Chris, for you, I have a special demo as we're wrapping up. Let me just show you something really quickly so you'll see the future, and maybe it gives you even an idea for how you can the direction you can take your projects. So let me play this one real quick.
Hey yo, this is Joe. I'm going to connect you to Acme Telco now. The new iPhone they sent me isn't working. I want you to get them to send me a replacement device. Can you take care of this for me?
You can count on me, Joe. I got this.
Ring ring.
Hey, Joe. This is Jamie from Acme Telco. How can I help you out today? Hi there. I'm calling on behalf of Joe, who recently received a new iPhone from Acme Telco. But oh, got it. When did Joe receive the new iPhone? The iPhone was delivered 2 days ago. Cool. Could you share the order number with me? Of course. It's 10293-849. Great, thanks. Is the device physically damaged in any way? No, there's no
So there it is, just a quick demo for Chris. So you'll be able to see that you can actually use this AI for customer service. They've even put a proof of concept here so that you can have even AIs talking to themselves. You can have an AI calling a customer. And we've reached that point where this technology is now usable. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys joining. I will share this as a podcast and also as a YouTube video so that people who weren't able to attend will be able to catch up with some of this tech. And again, I really appreciate you guys for joining us. So thank you so much.